Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and welcome back to the FlightFX Cessna Citation X. Today we're going to fly it in the NetJets livery from my all-time favorite Canadian airport of Kamloops over to Aspen, which features an absolutely beautiful approach, and we're expecting beautiful weather conditions over there. I'm really looking forward to this one, but before we get started, a quick message from today's sponsor, Say Intentions AI. If you're looking for an ATC add-on that is not just capable of your standard IFR A to B flight, but that can also do things such as a cabin crew simulation, data link, and even VFR, then look no further than Say Intentions AI. We'll be using them in today's video for our air traffic control and cabin crew, so if you like what you're about to hear, then be sure to check them out using the link in the video description and the pinned comment below. And with that out of the way, let's get straight into this. We are standing, as mentioned, at my favorite Canadian airport. You guys can guess why that is, but it is really a beautifully situated one in the mountains over here with a lot of business jets in the area, and it has both a beautiful approach and a beautiful departure. But for the time being, let's go ahead and prepare our citation for the flight today. So we are going to remove all the chocks and all the good stuff, and then we can open up our door and get going. Really beautiful looking airplane, isn't it? Alright, so follow me inside. The cabin is looking good. That's all tidied up. Looks like cleaning has definitely been done. Quick check back here as well. Yep. We are ready to receive our passengers. So, doors closed, then let's make our way up to the front. Maybe a little bit cold outside, so let me just go ahead and close that door again for the time being. Here we go. Alright, and with that, welcome to the cockpit of our Cessna Citation X. Now, we are going to do everything exactly from the checklist today, so let's get started, but let's also quickly get that sunshade down here into where the sun is coming in from. So, before start checklist please. Standby power, first test, then on, emergency light switch, we're going to turn it on, cross-check that the emergency lights actually illuminate, which they do, and then we can turn that into the arm position. From here on, batteries 1 and 2 on, ICAS on, APU start will be done separately, so let's go ahead, turn the APU master on, do the APU test, that's looking good, and then just verify that the left-hand fuel pump switch is in norm and APU start. Alright, APU is coming up, might take a little while, but in the meantime we can already go straight back into our main checklist. So avionics are coming on, IRSs going into nav, and then we can move down to the FMS. So let's cross-check the date, database is active, and then down into the POS init, wait for the GPS position to load, and we do that both on the left side as well as down here on the right hand side. And that's looking wonderful. So in the meantime, APU is available, so we put the generator on, and we're also going to put the air conditioning on. Cross-check the amps up here, which are going to go to quite a high indication at first, and then it's going to reduce to below the ground and the flight positions momentarily. Just like this. Beautiful. Okay, lovely. So, with that stuff done, let's verify that the parking brake is set, and yeah, it is, and we also have the parking brake on message showing on the ICAS. Beautiful. So, trucks are removed, the cabin door is closed for the time being, and we are still awaiting their passengers, but let's go ahead down here. So, nav light on, seatbelts on, and then we can go ahead and start our FMS setup. So let's go for this. Flight plan, we are departing CYKA, and then our first waypoint is going to be Durak. Then we're going to proceed direct to Mike Lima Papa. Direct to, let's see, that's going to be the first one up here. Coordinates seem fine. So from there we will fly direct to Juliet Alpha Charlie. That's going to be Jackson VOR, and then direct Delta Bravo Lima, from where we have a standard approach into our destination. So that's looking good, and our destination is going to be Kilo Alpha, Sierra, and Papa. Interesting. That is correct, isn't it? No, Echo. Okay. KASE. Here we go. So, for the departure, let's see what we've actually got. So, Navigraph, and we're in Charlie Yankee Kilo Alpha. Enter, Kamloops, taxi chart, let's find that one. So, they do not have an ATIS over here, but they do have a clearance on 1 to 1.9. Let's go ahead and call them. Kamloops clearance, ExecJet 711. Request the current weather information.
ExecJet 711, winds 290 at 4, Kamloops altimeter 29.907.
2997 is copied. And what is the active runway? ExecJet 711? I mean, it's got to be 27 with that wind.
711, runway 22 is active.
Okay, so runway 27 it is. Great, then let's go ahead and plan that. So departure, runway 27, activate, and we'll get the arrival in a little bit later. Now for the performance, that's all checked. We are going to use 300/.90 for our cruise. Interesting that it didn't accept that. Now that's interesting. /.90. That's better. Okay, good. So, transition altitude 180 is correct, 250 below 10,000 is correct, cruise level will be 450. And then we can go to the next page and we're going to synchronize the data from the EFB where we've actually not imported anything yet, so let's do that real quick. Import this, a little bit more fuel, and apply. Okay, this looks a lot better, and we can confirm this. Lovely, so on to the takeoff page now. Altimeter 2997, 12 degrees, and the wind was almost calm. Let's enter calm to be conservative down here. Dry runway looks good, and NDIs off flaps 5 will be sufficient. Confirm that. 3,291 feet required, looking good, and takeoff speeds are good as well. Lovely. Alright, cool. So that's our FMS finished. So then, fuel quantity and balance is checked and looking good. Center wing transfer switches are off, or rather norm. And takeoff speed set, and that's the before start checklist complete. So with that done, I think we can say hello to our passengers. So, I'm not going to open and close the door again. Hi, welcome aboard. Thank you. Alright, so let's go ahead and call for clearance. Kamloops clearance, ExecJet 711, request IFR clearance to Aspen.
One second, while I grab the paperwork.
Okay, they're working on it. So, Toga is already pre-selected. And down here we do want the vertical profile as well, like that.
ExecJet 711, clear to Aspen. Radar vectors Durac. Then as filed. Climb 5,000. Expect flight level 45010 minutes after departure. Departure on 134.4 squawk 1345. And your departure runway was changed to 22. Released for departure. Clearance void if not off by 1336 Zulu. Time now 1321.
ExecJet 711 is cleared to Aspen via runway heading vectors to Durac, climb 5000, expect level 450 10 minutes after departure 134.4, squawk 1345, and clearance void at 1336.
ExecJet 711, read back correct.
Alright, wonderful. So, let's see, they only have a radio over here, 125.7, but let's get started. So, altitude 5000, is set. 450 10 minutes after departure 134.4, which we can just pre-select
Boarding
down
has started,
here.
and the first passengers are aboard the plane. Hey folks, welcome to our
Okay,
ride to
134.4, squawk
Aspen. I'm Juniper, your flight
1345.
attendant for today. Please take your seats according to your boarding passes and stow your hand luggage in the space under the seats in front of you. If you need any assistance, feel free to reach out to me. We're excited to have you on
Okay,
board
so with that
NetJet's Flight
our
711.
routing is confirmed. The only thing that I am going to change is the departure runway, because we are definitely not going off runway 22, but I'm not even going to argue with them. That's a 1,800 foot runway. We'll just tell them we're taxiing to runway 27. I'm totally happy with that. Okay, so with all of that out of the way, a couple of notes over here that are definitely worth reading. So Delta and Echo restricted to aircraft with a wingspan less than 75 foot. So Delta, that does affect us. So we could go out to the right, or we just go left, left, Charlie, full length. I think that's the easier option. Okay, cool. So with that, we have read all the cautions down here. Then let's go for the departure briefing. We're departing off runway 27 on the runway heading, climbing altitude 5,000, and the guys at the radio can talk to the center in order to facilitate that clearance. Now, we have nothing special today, however we do have a little bit of terrain in the area. Unfortunately there is no reference chart, which would make it somewhat easier, but we do have an ILS chart here which tells us what's going on. So, MSA in the area is given down here, so based on VOMAT, it's basically 8,900 feet. Highest mountain on the chart is 6,500 feet. So runway heading 5,000, and then we'll see what we are going to do. Okay, in case of engine out, same thing, runway heading, climb throughout the valley. It's all VMC today, so a visual return is absolutely possible. Apart from that, I've got nothing special, nothing non-standard. Do you have any questions? No? Lovely. So that's our briefing completed. Then let's see. The doors should be closed. Just a quick visual confirmation. Yes, they are. Lovely. Okay, cool. Then let's go for the engine start. So, anti-collision is on. We got until 36 till we got to be airborne. So that's in 11 minutes. Alright, cool. So, that's on, that's on. Then let's turn the packs off and then we're good to go. Okay, starting right-hand engine. %, fuel on. And that looks like a good engine start on the number 2. Okay, starting engine 1. And 2 is increasing. 10%, fuel on. And we've got 2 good engine starts. Then clear signal on the left, have a good day, bye bye. So generators are on, APU, air generators, and shutdown. Packs coming on. Okay, looking wonderful. So, before taxi checklist please. Flight controls. So, flight controls are free, flaps up, then on the flight control page, verify the upper rudder remains centered, which it does. Okay, then flaps 5. And now the upper rudder should move. So let's do that again. Which it does. Perfect. Okay, so speed brakes. Up and indicating. And retracted. Wonderful. HRS is aligned, no flag. Standby gyro is uncaged. Anti-ice systems off. Pressurization. So you're gonna go up to 45,000, please. Set. And passenger advisory lights are on passenger safety. And seatbelts fastened before taxi checklist complete. So let's call Kamloops radio on 125.7. Kamloops radio, ExecJet 711, taxi in runway 27. Okay, clear
ExecJet
left
711,
side.
Kamloops, John Moose Fulton Field Regional Airport radio, runway 27 is not available. Taxi to runway 22.
How do you expect we're going to get an airplane like this airborne on runway 22? Okay, brake released, let's go.
ExecJet 711, runway 22 is the assigned runway. If you have specific concerns, please advise.
Yes, runway 22 is too short, we need runway 27. And apart from that, runway 22 has been renamed to runway 23 a while ago.
ExecJet 711, runway 27 is available. Taxi to runway 27.
Thank you, taxiing to runway 27, ExecJet 711. See? You only need to convince them.
Cabin crew, all doors in flight and cross-check. Hey folks, welcome to our ride to Aspen. On behalf of NetJets, we're thrilled to have you on board this Citation X. Our captain for today is Emmanuel, and our first officer is Stephanie. We also have a fantastic crew taking care of you today. Now let's go over some important safety information. First, please ensure your seatbelts are fastened. To fasten, insert the metal fitting into the buckle until you hear a click. To release, simply lift the buckle. In the unlikely event of a loss of cabin pressure, oxygen masks will drop down from above you. Pull the mask towards you to start the flow of oxygen. Place it over your nose and mouth, and secure it with the elastic band. Remember to put your own mask on before assisting others.
Okay, did I just miss my exit while I've been outside?
We don't have swim vests.
I think I did.
In case of an emergency evacuation, please
Okay,
leave
we
all
can solve
luggage
that.
on board and exit the
ExecJet 711, backtracking runway 27.
exits. This aircraft does not have traditional exits, so please remain seated and follow my instructions in the event of an emergency. We expect our flight to take approximately 1 hour and 54 minutes. If you have any questions or need assistance, don't hesitate to ask. Thank you for choosing NetJets.
That's what I love about
and we
flying
hope you
on
enjoy
an
the flight.
untowered airport. You miss your exit, you just tell them, oh, we're
Approaching
backtracking. No problem.
27.
Okay, so the approach area is clear, the right side is clear. Then let's go.
On runway 09.
Okay, so taxi checklist,
800
please.
meters remaining.
Exterior lights set, brakes are checked, nose wheel steering checked, thrust reverses. Watch it. Are checked. Okay, flight instruments checked, taxi checklist complete, before takeoff checklist, please. So, anti-ice system checked left.
Approaching
and right
0,
hand engine, stable
5.
and slat any ice.
Approaching 2, 3.
So, turn them all on, check the KASE message, that's looking good. And off again, perfect. Okay, so throttles, idles, seatbelts fastened, flaps set for takeoff, and speed brakes retracted, trims are set for takeoff, door damper and mark trim on, true briefing complete, radar. is on. Alright, let's just do the 180 over here without
30
wrecking our
meters
airplane.
remaining.
Ooh, quite a couple of birds over there. Good thing we're taking off in this direction and not into the other.
On runway 27.
That's checked. Okay, so complete the checklist, please. Transponder. TA array. So pitot static anti-ice on, windshield heat on. Exterior lights are set, engine instruments checked, KASE checked, and before takeoff checklist complete. Alright, let's go. Loops radio, exec jet 711, taking off runway 27. Let's see if any answer comes. If not, then we go.
Exec 711, runway 27, cleared for takeoff.
Okay, thanks. That's what I wanted to hear. So, ready? Timing. Takeoff. Brakes released. $80 knots, checked. V1, rotate. Positive climb, gear up. Heading. Exec jet 711 changing to departure buffer. So that's 134.4.
Exec jet 711, cleared to Aspen, radar vectors Durac, then as filed, climb 5,000, expect...
Yeah, whatever. Departure low, exec jet 711 passing 3,200, climbing 5,000 out of com loops. Okay, climb thrust set. Level change, autopilot.
Exec jet 711, Vancouver Center, radar contact, climb flight level 450, turn left, heading 150, vectors to Durac, then own navigation.
Left heading 150, climb level 450, vectors to Durac, then own navigation. Exec jet 711. Okay, passing 170, flaps up. Speed checked. Engine sync on. And that is looking wonderful. We'll maintain 210 until we're actually above the terrain. We clear the climb all the way to level 450. And I think the heading is looking very good. Yep, directly to Durac. Okay, beautiful. So we're up in the air after takeoff climb checklist. Landing gear up, flaps flats, up, throttles, climb, anti-ice, off, engine sync, on, pressurization. It's climbing quite fast. Let's reduce that a little. 515 minutes should be more than enough. So pressurization is set and checked. Passenger advisory lights on, altimeters 2997. After takeoff and climb checklist complete. Alright, so we're above the safe altitude. Let's go ahead and accelerate a little. 250. And I'll tell you what, let's turn on VNAV, then this thing is going to work all on its own. Exec jet 711, can we fly direct Durac?
Exec jet 711, clear direct to Durac.
Thank you, direct Durac. Exec jet 711. Okay, direct Durac. Nav.
Exec jet 711, clear direct to Durac.
is that already? Okay, lovely. So, now that we're out of the immediate area of the terrain, let's turn on the weather radar. And with that, we've done pretty much everything we had to do here. Passing 10,000, accelerating 300, that's looking wonderful. So, we are gonna keep the lights for the time being, but we can release our passengers.
Dear guests, we have just climbed above the safe altitude, and I'm pleased to inform you that the use of electronic devices is now allowed.
And for the time
Feel
being,
free to connect
sit
to
back,
our
relax,
Wi-Fi
and enjoy the
service
flight
as
with
well.
us.
If you need anything, just let me know.
We're about 160 miles from Delta Bravo Lima, and since that's the initial approach fix for Aspen, I tend to say it's a good moment to start preparing our aircraft for the approach into our destination. So let's go ahead and take a proper seat down here and find our destination data. So we are inbound to KASE. So let's wait. Let's first of all get the weather over here. So the wind is 206, clear skies, 10 degrees, altimeter 3038. Alright, now let's go ahead and find some approach. This is pretty clearly going to be the runway 15 for our landing. We do have two different approaches available. One is an on-off approach, the other one is a localizer approach. I tend to say we are going to use the on-off today, since basically both of them have that extreme 6.6 degree descent. Obviously, there is that Roaring Fork visual approach available as well, but I'm kind of a fan of the on-off approaches, so let's go ahead and do those. So let's read the notes first. Procedure not authorized at night, local altimeter setting not received, procedure not authorized. So DME, DME and RMP 0.3 not authorized, visibility reduction by helicopters not authorized, and descent VG SI and descent angles not coincidence, so our, let's call it puppy, is not going to indicate correctly, which is all understood. Okay, so I think this is just about right, so let's go ahead and start programming this for our approach. I'm going to start right down here with the arrival, and our runway is going to be 15. They don't have any stars available here, but they should have some approaches. With the emphasis on should, Looks like they don't though, and that makes things immediately more interesting. So if there's no approaches in here, then we can obviously not fly the RNAV. That means we gotta do the localizer. So let's enter runway 15, hit activate, and then we can prepare for the localizer approach. Interesting that those are missing from the FMS. I'll just take it as what it is. Alright, so from red table VR we're going to fly towards Jargu. For the localizer approach we can actually enter everything manually here. So let's see, Delta Bravo Lima, we can remove the discontinuity down here. And then let's enter Jargu. So Delta Bravo Lima, Jargu. Then we have KASE, FIMSO.
ExecJet 711, contact Salt Lake Center on 124.35.
So after Jargu comes KASE.
Switching to Salt Lake
Then
Center on
we have
124.35, ExecJet 711.
Followed by Doipi.
Salt Lake Center, ExecJet 711, morning, maintaining flight level 450.
And then last but not least we got CYKA. Alright, so let's enter a couple of altitudes here in order to generate some VNAV path. Jargu at 13,600. So let's go ahead and fill that one in, /13,600. And that will generate a top of descent for us as well. So after Jargu we've got KASE at 12,900. Next we have FIMSO at 12,300. And then we've got Doipi at 11,700. And finally CYKA down at the missed approach altitude, so we are not going to count that one. Now, interestingly enough, there are no distance altitude tables on this entire localizer approach chart, which is, I don't know, would be rather nice to have them. So we should, in an optimal case, write up our own distance altitude table, which I'm going to do off screen over here. There is no possibility to do that on screen. So we're a category Charlie aircraft, I believe. So 10,960 is going to be our minimum. So let's start dialing, as this is probably going to take a little while. In the meantime, what else do we need? Frequencies, 11115, courses 151.
Denver Center, United 526, flight level 330.
Oh yeah.
United 526 radar contact. ExecJet 711, Salt Lake Center, expect the Lloyd 1 arrival. Expect to descend in about 20 minutes.
Alright, 10,960 is in here.
Expecting the Lloyd 1 arrival. We'll
So
anticipate
Lloyd
descent in
1
about 20
arrival, he
minutes.
says.
ExecJet 711.
Let's see about that. Provided I can move around. I suppose after turning the knob for that long time, my mouse may still be blocked for a little while. In any case, let's ask him if he can just fly direct to Jargu.
ExecJet 711, contact Denver Center on 120.475.
Okay, mouse, can we start moving again, please?
Contacting Denver Center
This is a
on
typical thing with the sim when you are moving a knob for so
ExecJet
long,
711.
and it blocks you afterwards. I just have... Ah, here we go. It just took an eternity. Okay. So what did he say? Lloyd 1 arrival.
Denver
No,
Center,
I don't see us flying that.
Morning.
Certainly
maintaining
not.
Flight level 450.
I'm going to ask him to proceed direct
ExecJet
to
711, Denver Center, good morning.
Jargu. That would make our life a lot easier. ExecJet 711, request to proceed direct Juliet Alpha Romeo Golf uniform. Yes,
Executive
no,
711, proceed direct Juliargue approved.
Direct to Juliargue approved. Thank you, ExecJet 711. Okay, so direct to Jargo is approved. ExecJet 711, ready for descent.
Executive 711, descend via Lloyd 1 into Aspen.
We're not flying that, but okay. Descending via the arrival into Aspen, ExecJet 711. Alright, so be it. Well then, let's start going down. So, vertical speed minus 3000. Let's try not to overspeed it. Okay, I think that's looking good. Now, field elevation is down in 7,800.
We have left our cruising altitude and have started our approach to Aspen. Please return to your seats,
Would
stow your
significantly help
tables,
if we could actually
fasten
read
your
something
seatbelts,
here.
and note that the use of the lavatories is no longer permitted.
Alright, cool.
Thank you for your
so
cooperation
everything's
as
set up,
we prepare for landing.
except for the frequency, so let's do those. And that's gonna be 11150. Set once and set twice. Lovely, perfect. So everything's set up, and then I see you a little bit later on the approach when we can do the briefing and finally prepare the aircraft for our landing. So enjoy the lovely views as we're descending down into the Rocky Mountains. Alright, we're getting into the interesting part. We're passing 18,000. Let's go ahead and set the QNH, which is 3038. And that's set once and set twice and 3 times. Thrust check passing 17.2 now. So lights are going on. And the fasten seatbelt signs are going on as well. Lovely, then let's start the approach briefing please, as we're about to start the approach itself already. So, MSA 15,900, and we are going to do the localizer DME East approach from Jargo. We are already handed off to the tower, so ATC is no concern for us anymore, and that's really all there is to it. Any questions? No? Lovely. Extra fuel and time is about half an hour. Now, for the approach itself, we're starting at Jargo 13.6, and then we are going to pick up the descent path until eventually, out of Doipi, we start on a 6.5 degree path, so over there we need to be fully configured, please. Well, and that's about everything there is to it. We'll have the runway inside early. In fact, we can already see the runway over there, so that's going to be fairly easy going. Do you have any questions? Nope? Lovely, so that's our briefing completed. So we're still operating on VNAV, then let's set 11,700 feet. Which is now set. Okay, lovely. So let's do the descent and approach checklist, please. Left and right windshield anti-ice switches both on. Side window vent knob is window vent closed. Okay, pressurization, landing altitude checked, anti-ice off, APU off, exterior lights on, altimeter set, descent checklist complete, approach checklist, landing data. We should actually still do that one. So, approach, landing. Temperature is 10, and The wind is 200 at 5. Looking good. Next, dry runway is good. Flaps full. Okay. And landing data is set. Okay, crew briefing complete. Avionics set. Minimums 10,960 set. Fuel transfer feed off. Exterior lights set. And that's the approach checklist complete. And as a last step, engine sync off. Alright, let's use a little bit of a speed brake here in order to help slow the aircraft down. So, Doipy in 11,700. Now, let's go, so let's extend. Flaps 5, flaps 15, gear down, and flaps 35. Okay then, reaching Doipy, VNAV off, vertical speed, and our speed is going to be 125, so basically 140, that's 1700 feet a minute. And that's set. Approaching minimum, field inside. Minimum, continue. So, it looks rather good looking outside there. We'll be reaching, yep, pretty much the aiming point by just looking outside. Okay, speed brake is retracted. Let's see if we can keep our speed on idle. I think we probably can. Yeah, that's looking good. Aspen Tower exec jet 711 on final runway 15.
Captain, cabin is ready.
Thank you.
Hey folks.
Exec jet 711, Aspen Tower, runway 15 is not available.
Please turn
Yes,
off
Continue approach
is.
for runway 33.
and stow them until we report.
Negative.
Kindly put your tray
I'm not
tables
going to
away.
argue with ATC.
Ensure
I'll
your
turn them
seats are
off.
in their full upright
We're not
position.
landing on 3-3.
Fast-
Thank you. Alright, so, autopilot off.
Too high! Too high!
No. Oh god, do I really have to turn RAS off as well now?
Approaching 1.
Yeah, RAS is off as well. Alright, so descending down onto the puppies. We're right down at VREF. Looking wonderful. So flare a little bit higher than usual. And touchdown. Okay, spoilers reverse. $70 knots. Alright, and off to the left. Beautiful. That was a thoroughly enjoyable landing. Nice and stable, an hour and 55 flight time. What else could you ask for? Okay, so we've vacated the runway. We're just gonna stop it over here for a moment. So let's go ahead and do the after landing checklist. And actually there is none. Okay, fine with me. We're just gonna do that stuff ourselves. Alright, cool. So, start the APU please. That's down here, APU start. Alright, cool. So, parking is straight over there. We can already see the marshal over there. So clear on the left side and clear on the right side. And if you look at this windsock, we clearly had a headwind. Why on earth did Say Intentions want us to land on runway 33? Not that we would have done that anyway, but... So, lights off. And stop. Thank you very much. Park and brake is set. APU is running. Generator on. Alright. So, shutdown please. Oh, and we forgot to retract the flaps. That's what happens when you don't have an after landing checklist, but there is actually none in the manual. So let's just wait a moment until the flaps have completely retracted. And here we go. Okay, so, shutdown. 1 and 2. Now, I would love cabin through all doors in park, but I'm afraid we'll have to do that manually. Okay, lovely. So, shutdown checklist, please. Park and brake set. Anti-ice systems all off. Thrust reversers are off. IRS mode control knobs off. Passenger advisory lights are off. Okay, standby gyro cage, standby power off. Avionics and ICAS power switches off. Emergency light switch off. So, gravity crossflow switch off. APU can actually go off already as well. Okay, APU shutting down. Exterior lights are off. And batteries 1 and 2 off. Shutdown checklist complete. So my friends, welcome to Aspen. Let's open that door. And with that, welcome at our destination airport. I do hope you all enjoyed the flight as much as I did. I surely had a blast flying this approach. It's just so awesome to fly these kind of approaches that you would never, ever do with your standard airliner. For the time being though, thank you very much for watching. As always, if you liked the video, be sure to leave a like and comment, as it really does help out the channel. Finally, if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.